Hello, and welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Debra, your host. We have an awesome female entrepreneur today as guest, and I'm really excited for our conversation. You guys know how hard I've worked to heal people pleasing and all of those things. And so it's going to be a really good conversation. Let me just get right to her introduction. Constance Curtis is a transformational coach and entrepreneur with over 2 decades of experience helping people align with their purpose, break through limiting beliefs, and step into the life and business they're truly meant for. Please welcome Constance to Deals with Heels.
Thank you so much for having me, Deborah. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm really excited to have you on. You really help and coach with a lot of the things that I think women struggle with. I
Um,
personally sometimes still struggle with them, right? It's always a process of it taking us back to let us either relearn the lesson or learn it in a new way,
Mhm.
all of those things. I'm really excited to have you as a guest and talk about all of those things. I always like to start with the guest. And so you tell us about your entrepreneurial journey. How'd you get to be a transformational coach?
Yeah, so after college, I did enter the corporate world for about 3 years. And I feel like that was a pretty good amount of time to realize that corporate was not my path. And so I left, and I remember my father at the time said, what do you mean? You have this great job. Where are you going? I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure this out. And I was a wedding planner for a very long time out in California. And I loved that. And then
Oh, so
after,
stressful, man. So stressful. That customer experience, you got that down being a wedding
yeah,
planner.
yeah, I'm lucky in the fact that I've always said I've been really good at being able to manage stress and just to be able to manage a lot of things thrown my way. I didn't realize till later, until my coaching journey, that that was such a gift to be able to regulate my nervous system. I just thought, well, why is everyone else getting so stressed out? So
Naturally good at it.
yeah, I am naturally good
Oh,
at regulating my nervous system, which is definitely a plus when it comes to wedding planning, especially the day of, right? When pretty much anything can go wrong.
oh yeah. And the
Yeah.
bride, the family, they're in no position to want to solve problems.
Right. And then I got into matchmaking, which
Wow.
was which was really fun because it's so cool to see people come together. I'm a big believer that everyone deserves, if they want to, if they want a partner to share their incredible life with, I hope that everyone finds that. And so being able to bring people together and help people find that was very, very fulfilling. But that is when I began to notice people's behaviors and how we were unconsciously self-sabotaging ourselves from getting what we want. And so as I saw these incredible men and women, that I was setting up on dates, self-sabotaging themselves, I thought, what in the world is happening? And that's when I decided to study emotional mastery and really understand the thoughts that we buy into, the thoughts that we tell ourselves that then control our emotions. And then our emotions then, control our behaviors. And if we don't learn to master our thoughts and emotions, our behaviors can definitely unconsciously self sabotage ourselves. Behaviors like people pleasing, behaviors like avoiding, procrastinating, all of those types of things can unconsciously self sabotage. So that is when I believe, when in my matchmaking journey, was when I started to notice, really have the awareness around other people. And I decided I really want to go and start to study why this is happening. So, I thought if I could help identify how they were unconsciously self-sabotaging, then I could help them, right? And really
Hmm.
truly take their experience to the next level, which then led me to helping not just the dating industry, but everyone, leaders in general. What does your next level look like? What does your next level of impact and fulfillment look like? And wow, it has honestly truly been the most purposeful journey of my life.
That's amazing. And it's true in all aspects of life. It's when we get emotional that we lose control of the situation, right?
Mhm.
We react to something emotionally. And my audience knows I talk about it all the time of when I started over that I was triggered by everything, right?
Mhm.
Everything made me upset. I was at the bottom and I just didn't want to feel that way anymore. I'd never really even heard of a transformational coach or have somebody to help me through it, but I just knew I didn't want to feel that way. I was in grief after
Mhm.
the loss of a marriage and then my mother dying, and grief counseling really helped me a lot. But it would have been great to have a coach
Yeah.
that would be able to talk me through it instead of me figuring it out and, bouncing and talking to my friends. It would have been great to have that. And I bet you see that a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And most people don't realize that it only takes 90 seconds to move an emotion through the body. So when you realize that, 90 seconds, there's people that will go a whole day having anxiety or a whole day feeling really sad or angry.
Or months being pissed off
Months,
at somebody. Let's
months,
face it, we
right?
know some everybody knows a grudge holder that's
Yes.
still mad, that still gets mad when they think about you. And it's crazy that they can carry that emotion for that long. They're just refueling it through their body over and over. Is that the thing?
Yep. Yep. They're actually not feeling it. They're avoiding it and they're not dealing with the anger or they're not dealing with, the anxiety. And if we actually just take a moment to feel it, say, okay, it's here. I'm just going to sit quietly with this and breathe into it, then it becomes less scary and you'll start to notice that it lightens. So you'll feel it in the body. So some people will feel it in the chest, some people their shoulders, get tense, they get a headache, it's maybe their stomach starts to hurt. You truly really feel the sensations of the emotion in the body. And allowing yourself to feel it and just breathing into that emotion, it lightens. And as you feel it lighten, what you can do is you can insource the opposite. So remembering a time where you weren't angry, right? So the opposite maybe of that is happy, or when was a time that you were joyful? One little memory, and bring up that memory and remember that joy and feel that sensation in the body. And it does not happen overnight, that being able to quickly turn it off and on and within the 90 seconds. I know that I'm making it probably sound easy right now, and I don't want to discredit anyone that, has a hard time doing this, because this is what I work with, clients. Sometimes it takes my clients up to 6 months to truly be able to move an emotion through the body, within, like, say 30 seconds now they can do it. But you can do it. And it's absolutely incredible when you realize that you can master your thoughts and emotions, and so they no longer control your life. You take your power back. And when you take your power back, you control your behaviors. And when you change and your behaviors change, everything around you changes. And you can create the life that is truly fulfilling in what you want.
I totally get that. I've been working on mindset for a long time, and your mindset really is the things you think, the stories you tell yourself over and over again,
Hmm.
all of that I call thought data. What data are you feeding in your mind to create
Yep.
that mindset? And that, so when you have somebody that's, how do you say that word, ruminating it over and over and over again in their mind, right? There's people that I think we've all kind of been there. If you get really upset, you can't let go of it and you just keep thinking about it. And I could say this and I could say, like, all of that storytelling of, like, the argument hasn't finished, the interaction hasn't finished. I'm still having the argument in my mind. I have a
Hmm.
relative that does that. And every now and then I'll get this message, and I haven't been privy to the rest of the conversation that they've been having with me in their mind. I don't know what they're mad about. They just have this random text from nowhere because they've been building this thing in their mind all this time, and I haven't been part of it. What can somebody do to snap out of that?
Yeah. Question the thought. Question the stories. Or listen, our mind, it does not shut off. We all know that. It absolutely loves to take over and to be in control. So I like to think of it as, by the way, for anyone who's listening to this right now, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is one of the most amazing books you can read. And he talks a lot about this, of how the mind is not shut off. But if you look at the mind as Think of it as a person sitting next to you and just yapping away at you all day long. Right. So, like, as you're working, right, or you're doing stuff around the house, whatever, whatever it is you're doing, your mind is just go, 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 go. Imagine if that was someone sitting next to you, talking to you the entire day. You would say, enough. Like, I just need a moment of silence. And so when those thoughts are taking over and you're buying into the stories, ask yourself, is it true? Is this story that I just made up in my head, is it actually true? And majority of the time, it's not. It's absolutely a story that we made up ourselves, that we have bought into, that we need to question. And then when it comes to really having emotional, when it's like someone else that's involved, there's a lot of tools that I do with my clients. There's a method called the turnaround method. We want to make sure you don't stay in the victim mindset, right? So if you're constantly blaming others, it's a lot harder to grow from that mindset than if you can shift it and say, okay, I'm taking ownership for this. And then from the ownership mindset of, this is happening to me because I created it myself. That is when you can start to have your breakthroughs and transformation.
So many times we sit around and say, well, this person, they're doing this person's doing that. Did you see them? They didn't shave this, they didn't do this. And those are all your feelings about things that other people are doing, right? It's external of you. For me, it was really important for me to separate. I didn't want to feel like that. I didn't want what someone else does or says to affect me emotionally if I could prevent it. Now, sometimes you can't prevent it, but a lot of us walk around with somebody said something on social media and this was on the news and this person cut me off in traffic and this person, and they just hold all of that in
Yeah.
and become kind of that I am not the problem. Other people are the problem.
Hmm.
That is really hard to break out of that and understand that you can totally separate and not feel any of that. That's simply your reaction. What are some tips for people that find themselves in that place, right? I'm pissed off. Everything all day long is just getting me. How do they separate that? I question it too, the same kind of
Yeah.
principle that you were talking about, but in the mode of it, it's hard to shut it down.
Yeah. Well, it starts with awareness, just even noticing that it's affecting you. Right. So just saying, okay, what is it going on? If it's what from what I'm hearing is the question is that there's like some type of external factor. So whether it's a person or something that's going on in the world that's like truly affecting the emotions. And awareness around the world and people is good. You just have to be careful that it doesn't consume you, that you don't absorb it where it takes all of your energy, because then it will deplete you. And it's not a good place to be.
It isn't. And I think it kind of, I guess I'm wondering if there isn't like one major thing that's got them. And now everything pisses them off all day long because of this one thing. Like I used to say, I'm full of stress up to here when I start my day, years ago. And so I've got
Mhm.
this much space to deal with your bullshit. And that's not enough. That's not enough. So
Yeah.
I think, do you think that's part of it? That they're already at an elevated place and so everything's emotional to them because they're so emotionally upset already without dealing with it?
Yeah, I think that if someone's waking up in a bad state, that tells me that person has a lot of inner work and healing that they need to do just on their own personal
Yeah.
journey.
And I don't think they realize they're waking up in that state. I just think they're used to it,
Right.
right?
And
You
so
get
yeah.
used to feeling so crummy. This is what I feel like every day.
Yep. So the awareness, yeah. So the awareness could be before you even get out of bed, have the conscious awareness that how's it make the statement, the intention, this is going to be one of the most incredible days of my life. Do not get out of bed until the intention is set that the day is going to be absolutely incredible, and you choose to move through the day with whatever your core values are. So, harmony and balance and freedom and inner peace and whatever it is that you're calling in. Because if you get out of bed in that state, that then when you have a reaction, you're going to be able to notice, okay, what is it? Have the awareness around what is it you're reacting to. If you get out of bed and you're just already reacting to any little tiny thing, you're right. You're just in that, you almost don't even have the awareness. Like your self awareness is so low that, and that's okay. Here's the important thing. There's no judgment. We have to stop judging ourselves, and we have to stop judging our others for being in a bad place. There's always room to grow, all of us. And we've all been at a rock bottom before. We all have, right? That's the beauty of being able to tell your story and what you've come out of and how you've succeeded. So the rock bottom is a beautiful place because the
It
only
is.
place you can go from there is up without judgment. You can wake up and say, you can understand that you're in a really, really bad place and that everything around you is triggering, but you can make a conscious awareness around setting the intention. Today is going to be a good day. And then from that place, you can start to notice the thoughts that are creeping into your mind that are affecting your emotions. So whether it be a person that walks by and triggers you, why? What was the thought that just popped into your mind about that person? And do you even know if it's true? If that thought you're buying into that is affecting you so deeply, do you know it's true?
And
Does that make
usually it's
sense?
not. Yes, because
Yeah.
I think oftentimes the thing that makes us so upset, it's not really that, right? That's like the opening to let the emotion out. It's not the person that cut us off in traffic because they needed to exit, because we've all had to do it,
Yeah.
right? We've all had to do it. It's not that. So for me, I really would ask those questions of myself, but it took me a long time to be able to ask it and calm it at the same time. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
aware I'm like proof of concept for you, even though we weren't working
Yeah.
together. And that just setting intentions that I didn't want to be like that. I'm going to make this a good day. And when
Yeah.
I did get upset about it, I could have the conversation. I realized it because it was contrary to what I said it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. It was
Absolutely.
contrary. So it really stood out. It wasn't my natural mode because I set that earlier in that I'm not going to feel this way. I'm not going to let people trigger me anymore. So I think I definitely felt that exact same way. And it would have helped so much to have somebody that had been through it or coaching it
Yeah.
to reinforce it so I would know how to actually do it. I figured
Use
it,
the tools to do it.
yes,
Exactly.
I figured it out and it helped. And I made it through it all. And now I rejoice in the rejection.
Yeah,
Bring
I
it.
love that. And I
Rejoice
think
in my rejections because
yes,
it's
and
showing me the way.
there's also the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, which a lot of people aren't aware of. So the conscious mind, that's all of our thoughts, daily thoughts, and all. Okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. But the subconscious mind, that is our fears, that is our limiting beliefs, that is our blocks, and that's where 95% of our behaviors come from. Can be difficult sometimes to have the awareness because a lot of the subconscious beliefs, limiting beliefs, stem from childhood, stem from, past experiences that need to be unpacked on a much deeper, deeper level. So if you're feeling stuck or like you're in this cycle that keeps repeating itself, going, how am I back here again? And you feel like you're doing all the things. You feel like you're setting the intentions. You feel like you're doing all the right things. What's happening is we have what we call competing desires. So your conscious mind wants something else, but your subconscious mind is thinks that there's a better way to get it. It typically wants safety, but it's showing you how to get there in a not so efficient way, which could
Well,
be people pleasing or something like that. So if you do feel stuck and you do feel like you're doing all the right things, it could be a deeper subconscious thing.
and part of that being aware is, guys, that is you being conscious again, taking control away from the subconscious. Your subconscious could be in control and you're walking around doing all the things. I swear I was in functional freeze for a decade. A
Mhm,
decade.
mhm.
And I just thought, I'm stuck. I can't figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I mean, found out in counseling that I wasn't procrastinating. I'm actually in functional freeze and how to get out of it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that you're not in a trance when your subconscious is taking over. You're in fight or flight. But if you're
Yes.
upset and you can't calm down and you're mad and you can't reason with yourself, then your subconscious is in control. And you
Absolutely.
have to consciously take that control back in order. And once you start doing it, though, man, then you're like, oh, wow. Sometimes I think back to some of the times in my life where I was really out of control. Now I know. God bless those people for being so kind to me when I was definitely, um, in fight or flight. My
Yeah.
subconscious was ruling what was happening. I think most of the world right now is in that state because we're so in survival mode.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I find, do you do grounding exercises? Grounding exercises help me pop out of fight or flight, but they're not for everyone. What do you recommend when somebody realizes they're in fight or flight to pop out of that?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of power in the pause. Well,
Mhm.
go, 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 right? But just taking a few minutes to pause. So that's, I always just say, if you can't do anything, maybe you're, at work and you just see if you can get away for a few minutes, step outside for 3 minutes and just pause. Another thing that I love to do is breath work. So really moving that energy through all of your chakras through all of the body. And so that's really powerful. And then, of course, if you have more time, 30 minutes, then I like to go into like a deeper meditation to really get grounded. But if you don't have, if you can't meditate at your office and
Yeah.
then something happens, just place, your hand on your heart, take a moment to close your eyes and just pause.
Yep. Take a deep breath.
Hmm.
Let all of those crappy thoughts come and go. Don't repeat them. Let them go. Let them
Yeah.
come. Let them clear out. I used to imagine they would like gather in a big gray ball,
Hmm.
right? Like if I could, and like I'm in my car before a big appointment and I've had a phone conversation with my ex or whatever it is, I feel really wound up and I need to center myself and calm. I would like close my eyes and breathe. And when those thoughts all come, because they do, I
Hmm.
would just put them in this gray ball.
I love
And
that.
then when I was done, I would just throw that ball away. And
Yes.
I could get through that next appointment really easily
Yes.
by doing that. And I think sometimes people have just a resistance to doing the deep breathing and understanding how meaningful it can really be.
Yeah.
Oxygenated cells feel better. You feel better when you do it.
Yes.
Talk about like the breathing techniques. Are you doing like really long breath, box breathing? What do you think works the best?
So if a client doesn't have much time, we'll just do simple slow breathing. So inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath at the top for a count of 3, and then exhale for a count of 6. So it's a slower breath work that just it calms you, it slows you down. And I repeat that 10 times. So I tell them to repeat that 10 times. So that's a bare minimum.
If you
But
can do that, man, that will calm you down. That
yes.
will so calm you down.
Yes, and the count is important. So inhale for 4, hold your breath for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 6 seconds, and repeat that 10 times, and helps. Oh my goodness, it helps tremendously. Then you can do other techniques, like you can do, faster breath work. Definitely, if you haven't ever tried breath work before, make sure you work with someone, because if you do intense breath work, your body can cramp up. There's a lot of different things that can happen. It's very, very powerful, but I just don't want any of your listeners starting all this breath work as they're
And then,
driving, so
right.
so just be careful. If you do get into those techniques, make sure you work with someone who's been certified and trained and that can help you, because if you do really deep breath work, which by the way is very transformational, it's it's amazing. I did breath work with one of my coaches, gosh, about a month ago. We did it for an hour and my whole entire body it cramped up. Like my hands were like this. It was wild. But afterwards, I felt like this cloud. I was just like floating on this cloud. And I
That's
was like, oh my
awesome.
gosh. but it was one of my very first times going that deep. And so make sure that you have someone with you that, is certified and knows what they're doing.
Thing. I've also found one of the things when I was first starting and I would be upset is, and I started meditating about 15 years ago. I
Mhm.
just didn't get deep into my spiritual journey until I hit rock bottom because
Yeah.
that's the way it goes sometimes. But even just putting my hand on my stomach lightly and feeling my breath in and out when I was upset, how fast it was moving and thinking about it slowing down, and it just did like that external pressure was helpful for me. I don't think it's any like healthy or any specific way, just to bring your attention to it. And then I
Yeah.
read something recently about humming.
Oh, humming is a great one.
Is
Mhm.
it like resets your vagus nerve and it will immediately calm you? How long do you have to hum for?
Oh gosh, I have my clients hum for anywhere from 20 seconds to if you and you can it doesn't have to be like consistent. You know what I mean? Like you can hum for a little bit and then stop, but just for about 30 seconds.
And you don't have to just be,
And
you
like, no,
can
it's
hum a tune, you can, right? It's not
yeah,
just holding the note. It's
yeah.
not that.
And
It's
it,
any
it
kind of
can
humming.
be
They
like
used to hum in elementary school when I was in school and play the kazoo and all the little things. Little did we know how necessary.
yes, I always tell when I have well, I don't even know if this is called if it I call it humming, but for me it's I have them make a noise like that. I don't
Yeah,
even know if that I wouldn't call it humming though, but it is a form of humming, I guess.
it's the
But
vibrational, right? It's the
yes, the
frequency and
vibrational.
vibration.
And so you feel the vibration in your body. Another thing is push your if you have a wall near you, you can, go and press up against the wall and hold that for about a minute. That can work really well as well to help, regulate that nervous system.
Fantastic. Because I used to get in trouble when I was a child for humming. I know my audience isn't surprised by that. I got in trouble for talking and all kinds of other things too. But I have recently started because I read that it gives you nitrous oxide too, which is good for your blood vessels. So I was
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna hum again. I don't care if I got in trouble for that when I was a kid.
I love
And it
that.
feels weird to do it for very long. We don't hear people humming very often anymore. It is so good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And dancing, if you're somewhere where you can dance, just start dancing. Music is amazing. Anything that raises your vibration, your frequency, that is going to help just, put you in a better mood.
Just
It really does help.
lightens the load, right? It just makes,
Absolutely.
everything feels so heavy in the world all the time, especially if you watch news or read news. It can feel doom and gloom, but boy, on a one on one level, you and I've never met. We so connect on so many
Yeah.
different things. And if people take the time to stop and connect with others, I think they would understand so much more. And doing these little things help you be able to do that.
Exactly. I love that.
Awesome. You have been such an amazing guest that the time went so fast. We're almost out of time. We talked about such good things, and I have never talked about humming on the show before. I read that and I was like, and I had to go deep down that rabbit hole because I'd gotten in trouble for humming, even if they taught me in school how to do it. And I would hum when I was eating, and my brother would be annoyed, and all of those types of things. So I love that you could enlighten us on that subject because
Yes.
something I've never talked about before, but all you hummers line up out there because it is super good for you, for your heart, for blood pressure, in particularly because of nitrous oxide. You don't have to take the pills under your tongue. You can hum and then you don't have to. I'm not a health practitioner, but that's the internet said that I read it all on, right? It was in an article. I didn't just ask AI. So tell us the best way for us to get in touch with you and learn more about your transformational journey and your transformational coaching so that people that are stuck can take steps. And I was really kind of figuring it all out on my own. It would have been so much easier to have had someone like you. And I know there's people out there struggling to take all of the steps and make it through. And then once you think you're through, then it shows you something else that needs to heal and you got to do it again. So You're a great resource. How can we find out more info?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually love Instagram and TikTok because it's real time. So if you want to get a feel for my vibe and what I talk about, I try to post every day, if not every other day. So my handle's Constance Curtis. So you can find me there. I check all of my, DMs. It's me personally. So if you have a question, if I post a technique on Instagram and you're trying it out and you have a question, feel free to shoot me a DM and reach out. But yeah, those are probably the best, just under my name, Constance Curtis, the best ways to find me. And, I work with all types of individuals, people going through personal transformation, people feeling, that they're built for more when it comes to their professional career. Maybe they've just been, with the same career their entire life and they just have this deeper inner knowing that, they're meant for more. I really work with transformation in all different areas and aspects of life. So don't hesitate, to reach out no matter what you're going through. I'd love to see if there's a next level that we can get you to.
We didn't get a chance to cover this, but codependency in business and people pleasing in business is a real
Mm.
thing. And those boundaries, we've all had customers that felt like
Oh,
they could have so much of our time. And it was really hard for me when I started over to not give it to them,
yeah. And
right?
right.
And
And
not
people,
just
yeah,
constantly and not setting that boundary. And I would sacrifice my time and to set appointments. And I think a lot of it's fear of loss of opportunity and
yeah.
scarcity mindset to get through, but some of it is just carryover from bad habits in your personal life.
Yeah. And well, in people pleasing, it's actually just a form of self abandonment. So a lot of
It is.
people,
That's
yeah,
exactly what I was
exactly.
doing is
Yeah.
abandoning my own personal needs to make sure that I do
Everybody else.
everything I can to help this person. And that's not the way it's supposed to work. Your
Absolutely not.
people will appreciate. And of course, all I really had to do is ask the question, is it urgent
Yes.
or my next available? Right. That's all I had to do was
Yes.
ask that one question. And I still struggled doing it. And I know I'm not alone. There are people that have that client that they can't set the boundary for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And let's end with a couple of tips on doing that professionally without pissing them off.
Yeah. So setting boundaries professionally is incredibly important because societal programming tells us, put the company first or put your employees first or be the best employee that you can be.
Or the customer's always right.
The customer's always right. Oh
The
my goodness.
customer is not always right.
Yes. If you're filling everyone else's cup before you're filling your own and you're depleted, it does not end well. So listen to your body. When you're frustrated, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel those emotions, when you feel those feelings, you're out of alignment. And that is like ding, 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 your body telling you, you have to set a boundary. So that could look very different for everyone. Like, I love how you mentioned, is this urgent? Or asking someone to repeat themselves, or can you explain more? Or depending on the situation, it could play out a few different ways. But the main thing is having the awareness around it. And that is when you're frustrated, when you're overwhelmed, that is your body telling you you have to set boundaries.
Yep. Something's wrong. Step back. What is it? It's not that you're mad at this customer. It's what you're not doing to take care of yourself, to refocus back on you. That should be a signal for that. That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
Still, guys, I still struggle every day. Not every day, but I still have to talk myself back through it because
Yeah.
sometimes I think my brain is hardwired for that. I learned it at such an early age, that whole people pleasing thing, and I have to constantly keep myself on the right track and clear about what my purpose is and am I okay? That's the
Yes.
first am I okay? It's
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I have to be okay to help somebody else be okay.
We have to fill our own cups first, and that's absolutely true. And when we look at what we've been programmed to do, like returning emails, like overturning text messages, get back to that person within a few minutes. No, 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 no. That's not setting boundary.
No, and if you have the little things in your hands and, like, feels like carpal tunnel from your phone, I promise you it's from your phone.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have intentionally set my phone down. I only check it every so often. And I will tell you the one thing that makes me want to fix it is I missed a video chat from my granddaughter. And then I got a video of her upset. She's 2. And so that's like, I need to have my phone on. But I put it on do not disturb because I can't control. I'll be on it all the time and then I don't get anything done. So that's really great advice too.
Yeah. You need the focus. We have to focus.
Yep. So look, I could talk to you forever, forever, forever. You've been such a great guest and offered such great advice. And I will link to all of Candace's social media and website in the show notes so you can easily find her and reach out to her and find out more. It will change your life to make these changes. And I hope that you'll reach out and start taking care of yourself soon. And
Yes.
on that note, until next week, everyone, Candace, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you so much
on.
for having me. Thank you.
She did a great job, everyone, and we will see you next week.